Yeah, baby, what's up? How you doing? How you doing? Oh yeah, it feels good to be back in the command seat. Back on the throne of power where my gurudom spreads forth so that I can place love seeds inside of all of you. The guru will be appearing in Nashville this weekend. Some of you will be some of you will be able to kiss the bunions of the guru himself. Not myself, but Guru Jaynanda as he appears this weekend if his turban comes in from Amazon on time. If our boy Jeffrey Bezos mails that turban over like he supposed to in time, we'll see. Maybe you get to touch the turban. And I started thinking, well, we are kind of talking about philosophy at the event. It is a philosophy book. Who would have ever thought you'd get over 100 people to buy tickets to come to the philosophy event? But we also had to soup it up with a bunch of other knickknacks, smoke and mirrors, and whatnots for the peeps, to all the people out there. Welcome everybody. Like I said, we're mailing out 30 books a day, so we're getting down to, we've been doing that for a few weeks, so that's taken us down to most of the orders. So if you haven't got your book, you weren't forgotten. It's not necessary to email me and tell me about your book. There's hundreds of orders, and we've been going through them. You will get your book. It just took a while because there was so many, and I had to wait on the publisher to send the books to me. By the way, I just read a new book that just came out. It's my book. I didn't remember what was in my book, so I read my book, and I thought, this dude writes pretty good books. I mean, it's not bad, man. It actually came out better than I expected. The people that I paid to edit, who charge a lot, they did good. And I knew it was going to happen, so it can't be avoided. I just knew it was going to happen, right? If you read one of the first reviews, says, "This is a great book. However, this man did not finish all of his footnotes. Many of them are missing, and there's a question mark." That's a tribute to Mario Brothers, dude. That's a tribute. That's a question mark. You got to jump up and try to get it. You got to jump up and get those question marks to raise that IQ. Actually, the real story is, as I've explained many times, when the website was deleted, a lot of the links died. They died along with it. And I wrote a lot of these essays back in my 20s, and I have no idea what all these footnotes were. I would say 80% of the footnotes made their way into the book, and about 20% of them are lost in the ether. So if you want to swim in the ether and find my footnotes, Spurgatrons, have at it, and I will pay you absolutely nothing. But I do appreciate almost all the 5-star. Only one dude, two dudes gave 4-star reviews because they said the footnotes are messed up, and that's what I've explained many times. There would be no way to go back and find these freaking references. I don't remember what the references were from 2007. I mean, come on. Okay. Who can remember the footnotes that they wrote in 2007? Maybe, but I don't remember them. So I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to leave it there to show what happens in these ridiculous instances of censorship where your whole livelihood gets deleted, which everybody knows that's what happened in 2018. The Marcus Zuckerberg was over there like, we need to debate. No, don't debate him. Delete him. Delete his site. That's my recommendation. And then everybody else was like, yeah. Jeffrey Bezos said the same thing. Delete his website. Delete him. Yeah, it's Maoist, right? The deletion thing is more damaging because it's a Maoist idea of like raising the past. And so if those files weren't saved, you know, all that work goes away. And it's that Jacobin idea of year zero, right? It's that illuminate, confirm idea of the revolutionary ethos that you can delete everything and start over. I mean, it's the most soy naive thing ever, that you, as if you could do that. All working on the assumption that humans are blank slates, right? So I reread the book in preparation for the event. As you guys know, there will be a mystery debater at the beginning of the event Saturday. We have confirmed. I spoke to this mystery debater yesterday and today, and we have confirmed that he arrived in town. So the mystery debater is here, and he will be there, and that's going to be fun. Jamie has souped up her talk. It's going to be a impressive, excellent talk. I already know what she's talking about. You guys are going to like that a lot. She's got some fascinating new material that will be part of a future new book that she'll do. And then we'll have, you know, I'll do my presentation on the book, having reread the book. I feel like I'm reading something new for the first time. And there was only one chapter in the book that, looking back, I felt like was a little speculative and kind of out there. The energetic ether metaphysics chapter was pretty speculative. However, overall, it was still fairly solid. I think it still worked. Speculating about archetypes and stuff like that. Archetype. Archetype. Are you an any type or are you an archetype? Archetype. And I was reminded of a lot of things I'd forgotten that I wrote about, like, you know, these speculations about energy and how energy works and circulates, and the symbolism of Egyptian theology and energy. I'd forgotten that I wrote about that. So, yeah, I think the book, it exceeded my expectations. All the reviews are just like, man, this is excellent. This is great. So I'm really glad I did it. I was iffy whether it would work, if it would be a decent book. About 30 5-star reviews now. Almost all 5-star reviews, I should say. 30 total, 28 or 29 5 stars. So thank you guys so much for all those great reviews. Really appreciate that. That helps. Don't get the book from Amazon. Get it from my website. Yes, it's signed copies. So every time no matter what, you know, it's like, well, I got a signed copy. Yes, that's why you get it from my site and you pay more. And yes, I'll have copies at the event Saturday. Jamie will have her books at the event. So everything that you want and more. All of your hopes and dreams and wishes will be made true Saturday. All of them. Everyone. I mean, do you want to hear? I'll even play a clip of me doing Rodney Dangerfield for you right now. People were like, do some impressions. Let's hear impressions. Okay, so I did an impression. And you tell me if my Rodney Dangerfield's good. Here you go. Ready?
I'll tell you, I don't get no respect at all. I asked the bartender the other night, and said, surprise me. Showed me a naked picture of my wife. Oh, my wife and I tell you, and we don't have sex. We take our clothes off. I can't stop laughing. I don't get no respect at all.
There you go. Look at that. Free impressions. It's a pretty good Rodney, isn't it? Isn't it? Even the haters be like, well, he sucks in impressions, but like that one's pretty good. What's up, y'all? 230 on a Wednesday night. That's pretty good. That's all right. We just got started. So, yes, we are late for part 2 of Dystopia Now. What an adventure. What an adventure in the last year, maybe year and a half, roughly a year, of chronologically going through every one of the dystopian movies. We did it. And this is the final one. There's a couple that are on the list. I didn't bring the list. That are on the list that there's no date. So they could be on there, but the other thing too is that I had already done them, right? Like THX 1138. Me and your girl Tristana did that. We did that about 2 years ago, and we had fun analyzing that. And so I felt like, well, I've already done that, but I've already kind of done Zardoz too, right? But I wanted to revisit Zardoz because we had a lot of fun watching that. And that one's also, does it say the year? I don't know, 2500, something crazy like that. Zardoz. And you got your Sean Connery in, what y'all spelling? Spectre? You got your Sean Connery in your underwears. Sean Connery in red tighties. Not whitey tighties. Reddy tighties. It's freaking weird, dude. Anyway, but shout out to everybody about the event. I'm really happy. The event is an experiment. It's a mind control experiment on all of you. Just kidding. It's an experiment on, would this work? I don't know. We've done meetups, met a lot of you guys over the years, but we've not done an event. So this is our own event. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I know it will. And as I said, I have hired security, so you're not going to get in and be a weirdo creep. You're not going to bring your creeper koominess everywhere into my event. Go away. You'll be booted. We got big old Serbian dudes going to be bouncing the doors. They're going to bounce you out of here Serb style. Whatever, however that even happens. What else was I going to say about the event? There was something I wanted to tell y'all about the event, and I can't remember. Oh, so goal was to sell about 100, and we passed 100. So that's great. So we sold over 100 tickets. Gave out a couple free tickets to people that are helping out. So, if we get over 100 people, that's pretty awesome. I wasn't sure. I thought, maybe we get 60, because I think the biggest meetup we ever had was the Boiler Room meetup in Austin. And I think we had about 50 or 60 at that back in 2018. So I thought, well, the audience has grown a lot since then, so surely we could get more than that. And we did. We got, we gave it about a month, and we got over 100. So that's cool. That suggests to me that it will be successful in other cities. So after this event, I'll start planning for the Florida event. So we'll do one in Florida. WEC has already agreed to be security there. I'm sure there'll be a couple other people too, so it won't just be him. So if you are a soy man who thinks that he can take WEC, I'm going to have other men there. I'm going to have clones of WEC there also as security. And by the way, you can't beat up Wecking Ball. He'll beat your ass. So WEC will be there. The Florida event will be fun. I already had a lot of people saying, hey, do this same thing in Florida, dude. I'm like, if we get over 100 tickets, okay, I'll do that. So we passed 100 tickets today. I think we're about 105, 104, 105. Why am I green? That's probably because of blue lights. I don't know. It's because of the bubble guts. I feel like I'm on puke. I'm just joking. I feel great. I did do a detox with apple cider vinegar. And that makes you feel like so they sell these little detox bottles that you're supposed to drink half in the morning, half at night. Pfft, yeah, right, dude. I could do half in one day and then the other half at night or this morning. And it makes you feel like you're hungover. So basically it's a hangover with none of the positive fun parts of alcohol. So if you want to know what the apple cider vinegar detox bottles do to you, you will feel hungover and none of the fun. So I had no fun last night, but it's as if I was hungover. So that's what that does for you. But it's supposed to be a decent detox. At least that's what the bottle says. I'm glad to be back in the live stream seat. I love to live stream. It's a lot of fun. We love the stream of consciousness. The flow. Get in the flow, baby. Flow. Flow Rider. T-Pain getting nervous at Pay Piggy. You see that? He's like, who's out there auto-tuning better than me? And I'm like, me. Pay Piggy. Pay Piggy is better auto-tuning than you, T-Pain. You better watch out. Because I'm coming for that T-Pain audience with Pay Piggy. I'm going to put the songs out probably this week. By the way, I got all the songs together. It's all ready to go. And I do have a new song coming. Good, you guys are going to love this one. It's another Dave Gahan Depeche Mode style of Funko Pop. So I was going to go with Funko Pop Funk, but I decided to go with Funko Pop Depeche Mode because I found the perfect song about intimacy and marriage to your Funko Pop. So there's a Britpop love song coming about marriage to a Funko Pop. So, and if I feel like I might premiere the song at the event. Who knows? We just have to see how I feel. I'm married to a Funko Pop. Whoa. See, I see a lot of women out there already getting that in their head. It's already caught. There's a mind virus that's already caught with my jangles. With my jingles. Jamie says I have a gift for catchy jingles. Even though they're cringe core music, they're catchy jingles. And I forgot the dang freaking Jamie. Forgot the dang charger. I'm going to have to go get the charger because Jamie can't hear me. So bear with me for 1 second while I plug this freaking thing in. You never told me you spoke of my language, Dr. Jones. You never asked. Inside are the remains of Nuhachi, first emperor of Manchu dynasty. Tonkat Ali, baby, that's what you want to get. Head on over to chalk.com right now. At the beginning of the show, I'm going to tell you to get the chalk.com because that is the best supplement out there on interwebs. And use that promo code J50 and you get 50% off. If you want to get recurring chalk, you want that Tonkat Ali coming in every month, use the promo code J53LIFE and just set up a freaking life subscription, dude. You're going to want it. Trust me. How does he do it? How does he do all this? How does it? Because of the chalk. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. This is how we do it. Bump, 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 bump. Chalk is how we do it. Chalk is how we do it. This is how we do it. Oh, I'm feeling a Montel Jordan right now. Montel Jordan's cornbread zombie leg monks. That's an old inside joke. Nobody will get that except one dude in the audience. But I actually like throwing out one person inside joke references because that one dude is cracking up right now. This is how we do. Jamie, I'm in here singing Montel Jordan. She said, that's my favorite. The party's here on the west side. Designated driver, take the keys to my car. No, wait, that's not what he says. To my truck. Truck? How does it start? No, I know that part. How does Montel's lyrics start? No. No, the lyrics, not the bridge, not the chorus. How's it go? Our hands are in the air. Wave from here to there. If you're an OG Mac or a wannabe player. You see, the hood's been good to me ever since I was a lowercase G. But now I'm a big G. Girl, see, I got the money. Dollar bills, y'all. If you were from where I'm from, then you would know. Then I gotta get mine and something. That's it. This is how we do it. Montel Jordan's Cake Leg Zombie Monks. And then they just dance in a circle, but they fall apart because their legs are made of cake. Should we just have 90s night? We don't even talk about... We'll just not talk about Black Mirror, and we'll just talk about this. And by the way, first I was just going to do the Miley Cyrus Black Mirror, and then I forgot that I wrote like a 15-page in-depth analysis of Black Mirror like 3 years ago. Y'all remember that? Have you read it? It was going to be a chapter in the next book. It probably still will be a chapter in the next book. The next Hollywood book. But I'm really behind on that, on the Hollywood book. So, and we're behind on this one too. By the way, I'm not, the reason that we're behind is that we have to fill all these orders. And I'm trying to finish the research for Wall Street and the Revolutions, the Sutton book. But I'm also trying to prepare for the event. So there's a whole bunch of things at once. So that's why the live streaming is a little bit behind. That's it. It wasn't any other reason. Nothing else was going on. This week's theological drama has calmed down. Everybody's cooled off and everybody has made peace. So that's all settled. No problems there. So no need to continue worrying and freaking out about that. Everybody agreed to not fight about it and be at peace. So that's really what we wanted. And so all that's good. Nothing to worry about there. If you would hit like and share, by the way, we got 256 here. We got 100. I mean, everyone should be concerned with Black Mirror. Everyone should be concerned with what is Miley Cyrus doing. That is what matters. We saw Miley Cyrus at freaking Whole Foods. Whole Foods. She looked like she been partying too. That was a couple years ago though, but Black Mirror. Let's talk about Black Mirror because ironically, we never have analyzed it, which is kind of crazy given how this is like the dystopia show, right? And this is the final of the dystopia. Jamie couldn't be here. She's planning for her event, her speech at the event. So she's gonna join me tonight, but we're so behind on this, so that we got to do this. Give the people the air. Give the people the air. Give the people the air. Give the people the air, Cohagen. Give the people the analysis, Jay. I had to think about, wisdom from Arnold. Give the people the analysis, Jay. Give the people the analysis. So let's talk about Black Mirror. Everybody remembers Black Mirror came out at a time when we were, it was Obama going on, right? Remember Obama? He was president. And he talked like this. If you remember, Obama was president. Things were looking pretty rough. And the original first series, in my view, is the best of the Black Mirror. I think the show progressively got worse. Although I do think that the Miley Cyrus episode was way better than I expected. I didn't actually expect that to be very good. So I was surprised when Jamie was like, you should watch this. It's not that bad. And I was like, that sounds really dumb. And there's a reason why I never watched it. And she was like, no, this actually relates to the pop stars and mind control. I was like, what? Sure enough, yes, it does relate to the pop stars and mind, beyond what I expected. It's sort of, again, revelation of the method clearly here. I mean, it goes pretty deep. But before we do that, I do want to rehearse some of the classic elements that came out in the original series. And it went, so Charlie, what was his name? Brooker did the first Brooker season. And then I think it got handed off to other people and whatnot. And then it kind of got worse and worse. But I did watch those other seasons, and I did think that they were insightful in various ways in terms of dystopian elements. Even that special that they did with John Hamm, that was pretty wild. I mean, that was like, it blew my mind watching that one, because that was about the idea of being trapped in a virtual world as a punishment. Remember that? We did a boiler room on that because not too long after that came out, Hesher and Spohr found an article, a thing where they were talking about, hey, in the future, why don't we imprison people in virtual realms as punishment? Like, instead of sending the offender to jail, put them in a virtual jail. I'm not joking, right? And like fix them through the virtual world. Talk about a dystopia, dude. And so that John Hamm Christmas special, Black Mirror, was about that, and it's pretty wild. By the way, I didn't see Bandersnatch, so I don't know about the one where you're supposed to be able to pick, like, choose your own adventure or whatever. Rob, I'd rather sit over here and read a real choose your own adventure, okay? I'd rather read The Mystery of Chimney Rock. That's what I'm talking about. I'll choose my own adventures with a hard copy analog. I'd rather read Underground Kingdom, or I would rather read Trouble on Planet Earth. Hey, look at this dude right here. Look right. You got Eric Ibarra right there. Look at that. See that right there? That's Eric Ibarra right there in the background. Right there. That big old dude. What are you trying to do up here in space? See that? And then we got that's a real choose your own adventure. Don't ask me why I got to choose your own adventure on hand. People think I sit here reading all this theology, philosophy, and all that. I'm just sitting here reading Choose Your Own Adventures, and the CIA sends me the script that I read. Right? I have no idea what any of this crap back here talks about. I'm just sitting here like waiting for the script to come in from Dugan and the CIA, and I'm just sitting here reading Choose Your Own Adventures. I'm on a quest. That's what I'm up to. I'm on a young adult quest, basically 24/7. So that's what I'm doing. I'll just wait for my handlers to tell me what to do. So Black Mirror was from the mind of Guardian writer, former Guardian writer Charlie Brooker. Interesting that he was a writer at the Guardian, and a lot of people who have written at the Guardian back in the day were fairly adept at geopolitics, right? I mean, we've even worked with people who used to write for the Guardian for years back in the day. And Brooker is one of these, and he was their satirist. And so he sort of combined the Twilight Zone with a show focusing on the themes of technological dystopia. And again, in my view, season 1 is clearly the best. It's far superior to the later seasons, which is not to say that there's not nuggets in the later seasons. But season 1 was amazingly prophetic. Firstly, and most famously, probably, I'm guessing, the episode called National Anthem. Now, this relates to an event in the UK. This is in the story, okay, in the UK, about a group of terror men who kidnap somebody related to the royal families. They take somebody who's a royal princess, take her captive, and then they threaten that if the prime minister doesn't do something gross with a pig, right, they will commit this horrendous act. Now, in the episode, the event is intended to be a stunt to awaken the population to their own obsession and fascination with mass media, supposedly. In this sense, the message of the episode is correct. All Black Mirror installments focus on the dangers of high tech and in some way how mass media, right, mind controls us. However, at a certain point, exposing the events becomes another exercise in the debasement of the culture. The organizer of the publicity stunts commits suicide in the event, or in the series, and then releases the hostage with this anonymous-esque overtone, because they have like the, cutout of Anonymous and the Guy Fawkes, imagery or whatever going on. Even if this were to be taking place in the real world, it would likely be staged, right? And that was the thing I wanted to hit upon in this. But the weirdest part was that this mirrors something more or less real. As is evident in the first episode, the events taking place are mirrors of our reality. what is the Black Mirror? Well, I think Kotel might be right that kind of looks like a Black Mirror, doesn't it? I mean, I look in it and I see, damn, I see a good looking dude in there. And I'm not looking at goodlookingdudes.com. I'm looking at the Black Mirror that sees me right here. That's what I'm talking about, right? That Black Mirror is the dark side of our world, the in-between, the upside down. But in this case, it's not a spiritual dimension like in Stranger Things. It's the world of tech invading this world. And so in this sense, I said the Black Mirror is a shade self of the collective unconscious, a kind of Luciferian, satanic reflection of a society that has, from top to bottom, accepted willfully self-destruction. We are already in an era of mass traumatization. And I said that if you look at the theme of National Anthem, it's the same theme as Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers. And so I want to remind you, though, that the most relevant thing here is that in 2011, this episode premiered in 2011. The fascinating thing about this is that it hit mainstream media that UK then Prime Minister David Cameron had engaged in a similar form of, shall we say, secret society initiation, supposedly involving something to do with a pig. And this came out in the Telegraph in 2015. 4 years after the initial episode aired, this event is spoken of in regard to then Prime Minister David Cameron. Interesting. So Black Mirror episode 4 years before the story comes out about David Cameron. So what does this mean? Well, this is another of many instances of predictive programming, or whatever you want to call it, psyops, doesn't matter, because it's essentially the same principle at work, which is that things in fiction tell us ahead of time. Now, if you've paid attention to my work over the years, you notice that what I highlighted today, especially over on Twitter, Rockfin, my Telegram, etc., was that in 2015, Jamie and I did an interview, first or second interview we did on the movie Society, and Jamie talked about Cannibalism. How ridiculous is this that as adults I can't use freaking words? I mean, this is how crazy this. We're in the Black Mirror society now. You have to talk in code because you can't use a word. This is so ridiculous. And everybody's sick of it too. Everybody's tired of this ridiculousness. Should I pull up the other screen? Because I feel like people won't believe this. I mean, I'll show you the Telegram link. I had to go to Web Archive, though, it looks like, to get it. But it's still trying to find it. They said that, quote, Cameron, as a young man and before he was prime minister, was instructed to place his privy member in an area of a dead PIG. This was part of initiation into his aristocratic Oxford dining club. I wonder what the elite are up to. I wonder what they are up to. Yeah, just a harmless frat fun there. Nothing odd about that. There's the way back link if you want to see that. And I like how the Telegraph, they said, is it true? And the Telegraph headline is, does it really matter? I mean, now what are we talking about in the news? Cannibalism. And I found my 2017 video saying that this was about to be normalized. So 7 years ago, Jamie and I interviewed and talked about this. 2017, I do a video about it. 2018, we do a boiler room about Cannibalism being normalized. Spot on. We predicted it. People said it was crazy. You're extreme. That'll never happen. It'll never happen. They don't do that. So when we talk about it, you're a conspirator. When the establishment talks about it, it's health, diet, and philanthropy. Vindicated, baby. Caught the vapors. They caught the vapors. We're vindicated. They caught the vapors. One of the best of all of the Black Mirrors is the second episode. That first episode is intense, but it's kind of gross. I mean, soggy British men and pigs. I mean, that's just nasty all around, right? My teeth are in anarchy, right? If you not heard my song, British Eyes and British Thighs, my latest single. But that's just gross. The second episode is one of the best. It's called 15 Million Merits. Wow, was this ahead of its time, especially as we look at the not just the gamification of society, but the rise of crypto in the metaverse. Again, as we all know, I'm not anti-crypto. Not all cryptos are created equal. There's a vast range and spectrum of the cryptos. A lot of different ones, a lot of different kinds, a lot of different things. So they're not all the same. And Bitcoin is not identical to every single other crypto. So let's understand that first. Nor is Ethereum, nor is any of it. They do different stuff, and they're structured in different ways. So people who don't know anything about this sort of lump everything into one bin of, oh, that's all that fake internet money, and it's all a scam and a Ponzi scheme, blah, blah. No, that's not true. But this was way out of its time because not only was it predicting the gamification and the casino gulag, as Max Kaiser calls it, it entirely is possible that we could go into a Fed coin future for crypto, right? So if we enter into a future world of Fed coin and we're in the Zuckerverse and we're in our Coon pod and we're getting Fed credits, then it will be, I mean, that's what this episode is. And it's the dude, if I remember, I think it's the dude that's in Nope and Get Out, right? The black dude. So he's the main character. And we don't know much about this future dystopian civilization or situation that they're in. Other than that, you got to ride this exercise bike to basically get your little Pokemon points on a screen, right? And that's all you do all day. Which is just sounds like hell, right? Well, so it gets even worse because when you go to bed, you can't sleep unless you've paid a certain amount to not have the pop-ups in your Coon pod. And every wall is a screen in your Coon pod. And you can't sleep unless you have gained enough Fed coin points, right? Poke points, whatever. So he just bikes all day, and different people have these jobs that are meaningless, just creating and attaining points like a video game, except it's credit points that go into your account to pay off so that you don't have to watch, so that you can sleep and eat. It's crazy, right? Well, this is what Klaus and friends, now here we are, 11 years later after this episode came out in 2011, and this is the world they want. You know, I may just do Black Mirror tonight because we're an hour in, and I mean, I got like a 15-page analysis of Black Mirror. So let's see, I wrote my analysis in 4 years ago. Wow. This has had almost 6,000 views, which is good for an article. To get for an article at 6,000 views, that's pretty good. We'll see how far we can get. So anyway, if you remember Dance Dance Revolution, that horrible thing, there's an element of that in this as well, right? Where it's like, imagine living in an arcade, but you get paid in crypto. So it's like gaming metaverse way ahead of its time. It's a coon pod, right? Because all the pop-ups that pop up are like prawn pop-ups, right? So if you want to sleep, you got to pay to get the pop-ups to go away. Which in a dystopian novel is pretty genius, right? But then that gives the establishment ideas. When they see, they're like, yes, do that. Gives them, yes, make it so that they can't get rid of the porn pop-up without the credits. Can't you just see Klaus over there like, yes, right? But I went into, in my article in 2018, gamification, how this comes out of Cold War, game theory, Rand Corporation, DARPA, Pentagon, 100% where all that comes from. The gamification of society. You can find tech elites years ago giving lectures on what gamification is and how that's the future of our society. And we're already seeing this now, right? That the social credit system, booyah, right here, predicted in 2011, episode 2 of Black Mirror, 15 Million Merits. That is the social credit system. By the way, there's another episode with Bryce Dallas Howard literally about the social credit score. So, but that's like season 2 or 3, right? So we're still on season 1. We're just on episode 2. And it's like, what? Yes. And so in my essay, I went into some of the elements of gamification that was being planned back then. Press releases coming out of Sony, the big gaming corporations and whatnot, as to what they planned in the future. So episode 3 was interesting in regards to like the AI bots that are going to come. It was a little boring as an episode goes. It's worth watching. It's not the most exciting, but in this installment, special brain implants allow the replaying of events that are recorded by anyone's eye. Now, there's a movie about this that I did cover a few streams back. Brainstorm with Walken. Wow, Christopher Wow. Christopher Walken is in Brainstorm, which is a very prescient dystopian movie about DARPA and projects related to this. So this was actually in 1978 or 82, whatever it is, movie Brainstorm, which is worth watching. And we covered that. But here, this version of this kind of a thing is like these annoying, wealthy, what are they? I don't know what millennials. They're just shit bags, and it's hard. They're really annoying. Okay, these characters are really annoying, and what it turns out is that the guy wants to like watch his girlfriend's life because he misses her so much, and then he finds out by watching from her vantage point that she cheated on him. And so the message is just basically like, well, do you really want to know everything that's going on in your beloved person's experience? Maybe you don't, right? And again, the point being the threat of technology ruining maybe limitations that were good for human beings. Maybe it's actually a good thing that there's boundaries and limitations so that I don't know everybody else's thought processes and experiences. Maybe I don't want to know that, right? I don't want to know that. Maybe it should be that way. That's what I'm trying to say. And so what was that? Was that all there was to season 1? I'm going from memory. It's been a while since I've watched season 1 all the way through. And that one was called The Entire History of You. Oh, I forgot on the Pokemon exercise bike crypto episode, I forgot to mention that the exit from the Matrix in that story was a reality show, a game show. So there's like a American Idol thing where if you get enough points, you can audition for this dystopian version of American Idol, and you go and perform in front of a bunch of amiibos or like virtual audience. It's really weird because it looks a lot like everything looked during the period of Koof, right? Where you would see at stadiums like cardboard people up in the background, virtual people inserted into games, and it's just dystopian. The weirdest thing it was in this episode. If you remember when the black dude gets enough points to go audition for the American Idol show to get free. The thing that happens that you win is that you become, he doesn't know exactly what you get, but you leave having to be on the exercise bike. And so he ends up winning, but I think he ends up attacking somebody, right? Something crazy happens. And they don't care because he solved the system, and his reward is basically to just be one of the game show host people who doesn't have to live in the gulag, exercise bike gulag. So he becomes like a game show host and has an actual apartment overlooking a green field. He gets like a condo. Remember that? So it was irony because what he was shooting for, he thought was something that was actually something else. Remember that? And Brooker's point here is that, are we so alienated from nature that we can't realize that there's green grass and reality in life outside and not in the pokey sphere, not in the video game sphere, the videodrome? Videodrome. How many times have we covered Videodrome? This is one of the points of David Cronenberg's Videodrome, and we're going to be talking here a little bit about David Cronenberg's new movie, which I did not like. It was it grossed me out, dude. But David Cronenberg has made some excellent movies, and even if you hate Hollywood, bizarrely, he's made some movies that you would never expect he made, like Viggo Mortensen playing a hero Russian intelligence person. Never would have expected that. Eastern Promises from David Cronenberg. I like quite a few David Cronenberg movies. I do not care for this new one though. It was so gross and sort of off-putting, and I watched the whole thing, but it was just gross. I mean, who wants to watch Viggo Mortensen having bubble gut on a skeleton chair? I mean, and people putting oatmeal in his mouth. I mean, it's just like so gross, dude. But it's very dystopian. I will say he did achieve a gross dystopia that we don't want to go to. Grossopia, exactly. Jamie said grossopia. Anyway. So let's move on to season 2, or we'll never get out of here. We'll be here forever, dude. By the way, you can hit like and share. You can also support via going to the chalk.com link in the show description, getting a bottle of that Tonkat Ali, which is probably my favorite of the supplements, hands down. They're all organic. They're all rainforest source adaptogens by chalk.com, which is our show sponsor. There's the Action 2.0, which is also great if you're looking for that boost. If you're in the gym, there's the She Legit, great for mental clarity. Jamie takes it every day. Head on over to chalk.com and use that promo code J50, JAY50. You get 50% off. Or you can use the promo code J53LIFE to get 53% off when you set up recurring subscriptions. And that there is still that legislation they're trying to pass so that nobody on the internet can sell a supplement. I mean, just ridiculous. This total monopoly power grabs. Let's get to the next one. Season 2. Be Right Back. Martha loses her baby daddy Ash in a traffic accident, leading to her using his excessive time spent on social media as a basis for an AI recreation on her phone. This one was interesting from the vantage point of what's going to happen when they bring into everybody's lives these companion bots, right? Bitch bots. Scarlett Johansson's going to be your iOS girlfriend. Remember Spike Jonze, her? We did that analysis 10 years ago, whatever it was, 9 years ago. Okay, 9 years ago, I wrote that analysis of her, totally predictive film. Remember that? Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with his operating system. It has the voice of Scarlett Johansson. And the irony, of course, well, I shouldn't spoil it because probably a lot of people haven't seen that. It's a great movie. A little slow, but really good dystopia. In fact, we should have put it in this dystopia series, but I don't remember what year it's supposed to be. Plus, it's actually just a near future dystopia. But if you recall, the whole point is that he's overlooking what's right in front of him. Amy Adams is the perfect match for him. She's right there beside him the whole time. He's in love with this thing that's not real. So, again, a positive film from Hollywood against the dystopian stuff, even as late as, when did that come out? 2013, 14, somewhere in there. Probably 13 or 14. So if you haven't watched Her, go watch it. It's worth watching. But a similar idea here where, oh, I miss my ex-boyfriend so much, I'll have a fake version of him created. And this episode just really explores the fact that it doesn't work, right? People think that the synthetic version of whoever they miss or whatever, that it's going to be a replacement, and it doesn't work. I mean, if you had watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you would know that, because the nerds try to create the AI Buffy. I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but it's actually worth watching. And that predicts the demise and the absurdity of the AI SEX bots. I mean, it's just ridiculous, right? This is not going to work. It's not going to fulfill you or give you what you're looking for. But somehow people think then, and the purpose of this episode is that, to point out that, look, the copy of the thing, even if it's just like the thing, it's everybody, you're still going to know it's a copy. Right? So it's not going to work. And I thought that was, it's kind of a slow episode, but it's worth it. Next one is probably one of the best, tied with, of all of them. It's my number one, tied for number one with the exercise bike one. Is called White Bear, and I won't be able to say a whole lot in regard to why this one is so good due to, the platform that we're on. But if you would, by the way, hit like and share. Hope you're all enjoying this. We're going through Black Mirror because we haven't done it yet. Yeah, I'm glad to see you guys here catching it live. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Appreciate those super chats. By the way, you can super chat via Streamlabs. That's how I do my super chats. We've been doing that since, 2019, I think. We've been doing our super chats through Streamlabs. So if you want to ask me a question, want to chime in with a comment, use that Streamlabs link in the description, and I will get to those in a little bit. Now, White Bear examines the notions of trial by media, stagecraft, fake news, right? Old Don, remember him? And what about completely controlled synthetic environments? I always love dystopian stories or stories where we have this completely controlled environment, right? Truman Show. I even Resident Evil is goofy, but I love that element of Resident Evil where it's like you can never get outside of the reach of the Umbrella Corporation. Like, even when you think you're out, you're just in another element of the Umbrella Corporation, right? Right, and you get out of that, and then you're just in another underground base of the Umbrella Corporation. And then when you get out of that, you were just in a simulation the whole time, owned by the Umbrella Corporation. I love this never-ending umbrella omnipotence corporation idea, and it comes up in this episode. This is another one of those great. Think of the show The Prisoner, right? One of the first podcasts we did was a really in-depth analysis of The Prisoner. We need to revisit The Prisoner because it's one of the best TV shows of all time. Only 17 episodes, highly philosophical, highly esoteric, combining dystopia, esoterica, and spycraft. Well, you can't beat that, right? I mean, that's what we're all about over here. So if you've never watched The Prisoner, the original Patrick McGoohan, The Prisoner, I highly recommend that you go watch those. They're some of the best, really deep and prophetic. In fact, that's why I included it in the book, because they would ask in interviews back in the 60s or 70s, and Patrick McGoohan would, because he was a Catholic, if you didn't know. So they offered Patrick McGoohan the role of James Bond, and he said, because I take my Catholic faith seriously, I can't accept that role because I don't agree with the morals and the vantage point of James Bond. Because James Bond's a nihilistic, Nietzschean pleasure creature, right? He's a machine, a essentially a trained animal is who James Bond is. However, number 6 in the prisoner is a man who is committed to his principles, right? He's not. He never compromises and continues his fight to the very end. And they would ask Patrick McGowan in interviews about that, and he would say, well, we are becoming so technocratic that we will all just be numbers. He said that back in the 60s and 70s. So, I mean, he was way ahead of his time. And by the way, has a small role in David Cronenberg's Scanners. Cronenberg did Scanners, didn't he, the first one? Isn't that right? Pretty sure that's right. Videodrome, by the way, again, great. Scanners, Videodrome, we've already done those so many times. That's why we didn't revisit them in this episode of Dystopia, because we've done those. But, so, the controlled environment, the totally surveilled panopticon environment that we see in The Prisoner is very reminiscent of this episode. And I like the fact that in this episode, she wakes up not knowing where she is or what's going on. She has no memory, so her memories have been erased. And, the TV is playing these strange signals that we think might be involved in the mind control. She sees a photo of a young girl and another one, another of herself and a boyfriend. And then she sees out in the neighborhood these creepy, animal mask wearing killers coming after her. And so immediately we think, well, is this some kind of psychological operation? This is obviously some kind of mind control. And, she's on the run. It's this just never ending, like basically an hour of intense fear and terror as she runs. And as she meets more and more people on the run, she begins to suspect that even those people are involved in this constructed narrative and environment. And in my analysis, I went into Wag the Dog. I went into MK Ultra. I went into the things that you would expect me to be talking about in terms of MK Ultra. And I'm assuming everybody has seen this episode, so I'm not gonna say too much about. I'll go ahead and spoil it. But if you recall, we find out at the end that it's a theme park, and we're in a future dystopia where part of this theme park is teaching people justice. So the future society takes their children to a theme park where people are participating in a live action scenario where they don't know what they've done, and they're being harassed and tracked by insane killers. And it turns out that this was a publicly viewed, a Truman Show style trial. And so at the end, when she thinks she's gotten away, we find out that she is on trial by mass media and by the audience to determine whether she's guilty or not. And the reason that she had amnesia was that she was mind controlled and had that erased. And then they tell her, oh, well, you want to know why you're in this scenario? It's because of your past criminal life. However, the scariest part of this is that we don't actually know if she really was guilty. In other words, a society where it's not just trial by media, but mind control has advanced to such a stage that they can implant false memories, or they can just make up things. Then you lose justice, because an all-powerful, centralized, technocratic AI state can fabricate your own past. Right? Imagine having your memory wiped, and you wake up and the system says, oh, that's because in your whole past you were a vile criminal. And you say, well, how do I know this is true? I don't remember. I'm just, maybe I didn't do that. Maybe you're just telling me that. Oh, well, here is the video imagery of you doing this, and it's all a bunch of deep fakes or something, right? So that's the doubly troubling element in this episode, which makes it, in my view, tied with the bike episode for the number one best of all of the Black Mirrors. And it really hits at the role of media in terms of crafting and explaining events and giving the narrative, right? Do we really know what's going on in these cases? Well, isn't most of our account of these events just from the media? But has the media demonstrated themselves to be reliable, trustworthy people? Right. I mean, come on. So it puts us in a position of, in my view, skepticism, right? I think this is where we could look at David Hume and be appreciative. So, well, I mean, I'm not a Humean skeptic, but I can appreciate David Hume because, well, do I really know, right? I mean, have I actually observed so-and-so doing these events? Or am I just believing what media talking head goons and ghouls on the TV say, right? You see what I'm saying? And that was brilliant in regard to this episode. So let's see. This one, the next one was pretty crazy. The Waldo moment. And this one was odd because I think it had a Trumpian element to it, even though this would have come out in 2012, 13, somewhere in there, maybe 14. So in the near future, you have a comedian who controls a wisecracking computer avatar bear named Waldo on a late night TV show. And this one was really genius. It's definitely up there in the top 5. I don't know if it's not my favorite, but the idea of a avatar taking on a life of its own and becoming its own character in its own life, which is what we see with memes. Memes take on their own life. They become sort of snowball into their own thing, right? I remember Sam Hyde was talking about how, you know, he didn't really, it used to maybe bug him with the, you know, mass SHOOTER meme, but then he said it took on a life of its own and it was almost like it went beyond him. Right, so it's like it's disassociated from who he is because it became such a popular meme, and that's what we have here with the Waldo moment, where you have this completely absurd level of political discourse. Right, in this near future dystopia, politics has devolved to such an absurd level that it's not just a wisecracking late night TV show and a popular comic character. It's that it gets the satirization becomes more and more real. And that's why it was prophetic, because nobody at that time of season 2 of Black Mirror could have ever predicted like a Donald Trump world or a Pepe world coming in 2016, right? And then now here we are in 2022, and it's even more post-Coof absurdist. I mean, things have gotten to pure crazy land. And nobody could have thought of this in 2011, 2012, 2014, right? Now, remember, guys, not trying to brag here, but I've been totally conspiracy woke since 2003. Now, I read my first conspiracy books in 1998. So I got the basic idea of NWO in 98, 99. Got really deep into everything in 2003. I'm talking about the geopolitical stuff, then getting into the dystopian stuff, the tech stuff, the AI stuff, all of that in the 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've seen things go crazy bonkers from 2014 to 2022. And as you all have, right? Now, who could have imagined, again, think back to 2014, and you're watching this Waldo moment episode, and it's profoundly prophetic in terms of the postmodern absurdity of Donald Trump being the president. Remember, right? You understand what I'm saying? Whether you like Trump or hate Trump, but the point is that imagine turning to the person that you're watching the Waldo moment with and saying, 8 years from now, we will be in the world that is describing, and it will be to the point where avatars are taking on a life of their own and are more popular than real things. Now, politics has always been theater, but this episode takes the issue to the meta level. What if politics not just as a joke or satire, but the joke becomes real and the AI bear becomes its own character, disassociated from the comedian who was his voice. So Waldo gets so popular that it becomes a global phenomenon to the dismay of the comedian. It ruins his life, right? So he disassociates. He's like, I'm not part of this anymore. So basically his life is ruined. And we see this more or less Pokemon avatar basically takes over the world and becomes the world dictator, right? I mean, it's just genius. And I think it ends with the comedian basically sleeping in an alley drunk, like, you know, flopped over a garbage bin or something, right? And he looks over and he sees a big billboard of the world dictator who is the AI bear cartoon avatar. Right? So very profound and way ahead of its time. Now, I think the next one is the one that I mentioned with John Hamm. Yeah, this is it. So I didn't actually remember if I analyzed the Black Mirror Christmas special. It's called White Christmas. And that's the one with John Hamm that deals with being imprisoned in AI. Excuse me, being imprisoned in a virtual world. Right? So smart house, smart tech takes over. You've got your personal assistant that's your little smart device. It's like a little egg or whatever. And what happens if we can not just go into a virtual world, but sort of virtually go into places, right? So can I go into my little virtual assistant's egg, this kind of a thing. And there was something to do, it's been a while since I've watched this, so if you guys remember it, forgive me, but there was something to do with pickup artists, right? So John Hamm's character is a pickup artist, nighttime instructor, and he guides these nerdy dudes into how to spit game. And so they go into bars and whatnot, and he coaches them on what to say. And it's like him and a team of dudes that remotely coach nerds through this process. And I don't remember. I think the purpose of the show is to point out that that kind of a person is supposed to be the worst person on the face of the planet, right? I'm pretty sure that that's not the worst kind of person, right? I mean, PEDO, right? This kind of stuff, that's far worse, right? But so there's this social justice sort of theme in this episode, which is kind of annoying. But setting that aside, the elements that deal with and by the way, you hear me joking about how your AI bitch bot will boss you around. That's in this episode. And I'm not joking when I say that. That's in Jacques Attali's book. He doesn't say it's going to bitch you around, but he's saying that you will have a personal bot basically as your prison warden handler. And we essentially see that in this episode, right? I put in my analysis, a hard-boiled AI egg is bitching at me. And that's what it is. And so John Hamm ends up trapped in a virtual world as his punishment for whatever he did wrong. I don't remember what he did, but that's his punishment that they determine. So now we move to season 3, Black Mirror Nosedive. Nosedive is presented as a future dystopia suburbia. This is one of the most important episodes. This is the social credit episode explicitly. So if you don't want to watch any of these, watch the Bicycle, 15 million credits or whatever it's called, White Bear, and Nosedive. Those are the most important episodes, right? This one is crucial. This one was so prophetic. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you that when I watched this episode, this one creeped me out. Because, I mean, the exercise bike one's creepy. White Bear creeped me out. And this one creeped me out. Because these are within the realm of possibility. That's why they're so creepy. No horror movies scare me at all, ever. They don't creep me out at all. There's nothing. Because a horror movie is it's a sort of, well, you guys saw the philosophy of horror stream that we did. So you can go watch that. I'm not going to repeat that. But horror movies are cathartic morality tales. That's it. That's all they are. Right? Because you never get in trouble unless you give in to your vices. That's the whole point of horror movies. And they're all that way. Even now, horror movies are the least cucked genre. That's why I still like horror movies. Of course, that's beginning to change. So, but horror movies still have the theme, and I'm not talking about the gross ones that are all just a bunch of like mutilation. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a good horror movie that has themes of spiritual retribution for acquiescing to the vices, which allows the demonic to possess you. That's the whole point of every horror movie ever. And not listening to the warnings, right? Last chance gas station in every horror movie. And everybody charges forward in hubris, never listening to the warnings. But those are all fake, right? I mean, there's not Freddy, there's not creatures or whatever, squeechers that are going to take you. Well, there might be squeechers that are going to take you over now. I don't know, right? I mean, with stabbies, and we don't even know what's in those things. Maybe there are creatures taking. I don't know, right? But Nosedive is potentially a real world that we could see in the next few years. We could see this world, Nosedive, coming in 2040, 2050. Or maybe in 2030, 2040, maybe, right? This is the one with Bryce Dallas Howard, where you see a dystopian suburbia controlled by social media. Some might say, well, we're already here, but imagine if social media rankings actually determined your class and status in society. So we're going to re-enter in a class society, which is what, by the way, Aldous Huxley says the dystopia will be. Brave New World is a rigid class structure, which is so ironic because all the dumb revolutionaries who thought we were getting equalitarianism, he makes fun of them and says, it was never about equality, you idiot. Only an idiot literally thinks that they're going to achieve a perfectly equal world. But every idiot who believes that is useful to the technocratic world socialist controller, like Mustafa Aman, who runs everything in Brave New World. So believing that you're going to achieve this perfect equalitarianism only makes you a dupe for the revolutionary tech elite who do not believe in equalitarianism. Can you low IQ people understand that? I don't think a lot of them can. So when I hear the socialists and the left and these people talking about this, they just can't get this, right? Now imagine a world where your daily activities are constantly monitored, evaluated, everything that you did from your bills to your video games, everything is tracked and traced. And this all goes into your social credit score. Oh, that's real. That's an article I'm reading from Wired Magazine. So all I did was take the description of the episode and put it next to the description of the social credit score system that Klaus and company have planned. And it's the exact same. And now season 3 was a little bit later. So we should see, for the interest of dates, let's see when season 3 of Black Mirror premiered, because that will be relevant. No, surely that's not right. Okay, Nosedive premiered in 2016. So we're right on the cusp, or right around the time of Trump. And as we know in the episode, of course, the more that she just sort of digs her hole deeper and deeper and deeper, and she gets more and more deranked from her she's a high status person in this social credit dystopia, and she essentially gets put into the lowest social status. And let's see, I spent more time on the social credit score system than I did this actual episode, because I wanted to focus on how that was the main, because I don't actually remember how this episode ends, because I haven't watched this since 2016. I should rewatch this one, because man, that one is really, really prescient, really relevant, right? Let's see. Okay, the next one is called Play Test. And this one I wrote was one of my favorites. I'm trying to remember this one. So this is a gamer nerd named Cooper is coaxed into participating as an unwitting dupe in a hardcore psychological operation utilizing video games. This augmented reality allows his mind to be hacked that leads to a mental breakdown. For the duration of the episode, we are questioning whether he has been led like a lamb to the slaughter, and if Sonya, the girl interest, was in on it, and if his experiences were real. So you could generally call this one Pokemon Bro or Pokemon Go to Hell. These are alternate titles, such as, I don't know what these are like dumb old jokes I made. Downton Abbey of Thelema. That's not bad, but I don't know why I said this. Oh, so this one takes place at a Rothschild-esque estate or mansion. Yes. Okay, I remember this one now. So this is where we have the augmented reality is causing a person who was unwittingly duped into this gaming experiment where basically a video game developer brings in this backpacking dude bro into this experiment, and it becomes basically an augmented reality mind control experiment. This was a really good episode. This one was great. But I mentioned the DARPA experiments, Pentagon working together to create virtual worlds that record and mimic the entire world. So basically a simulant world system is what I'm talking about. So I go into that. I go into Google's DeepMind project. I go into game theory again, war games, Rand Corporation. And this is another one of these really... This one was a genuinely creepy episode because of the fact of we don't know what's real. We're constantly having to question our reality because, kind of like in the Matrix, right? We don't know if, okay, we went into the Matrix, but are we out, right? And how do we know if we're ever out? Because we might be in just another level of the Matrix, right? Kind of what goes on in Total Recall, right? If you remember, in Total Recall, Arnold's like, can never figure out is he in or out? He never knows, right? Until the end, and then we think he's out, right? That's pretty creepy, and that episode is pretty creepy. I will grant it that. Let's see. Next one. This one was pretty rough. I'm not going to be able to talk about what this one is about on this platform. So suffice it to say, it has to do with the internet blackmailing people and shady people doing the blackmailing on the internet through hacking people's webcams and stuff. So I can't say much about that episode, but that one is generally creepy because, I mean, potentially anyone could be blackmailed and it not even be real is the point, right? Because I don't remember, but I think in the episode we're supposed to think that everybody that participates in the game or whatever it is they're doing has done something illicit and they're blackmailed because of that. But then if we think about the way tech is, I mean, couldn't potentially anyone be blackmailed in this way and it not even be real? Isn't that possible? So that one's pretty creepy, I have to say. Is this the DARPA dogs? Now, the next one, this one was generally creepy too. This is the Who Let the Dogs Out? Who Let the DARPA Dogs Out? Who let the DARPA dogs out? Who? Remember that horrible song? And so this one's the one that I went into with... Which one is this one? It's called Men Against Fire. Yes. Okay, so this is mind-controlled super soldiers, right? And we have a future where super soldier guys are put under mind control, and they are given this programming by which they are let loose to kill the cockroaches. So this episode was great because it actually has a dysgenics depopulation theme. So this is a future dystopia where super soldiers are trained to hunt what they think are humans who have some sort of debilitating disease, and they've sort of mutated into these goblin creatures or whatever. But what we find out, this the main character finds out, as you guys know, is that no, in fact, there's nothing wrong with the humans. The elite have mind controlled and programmed these people to see these people as viruses on the earth and cockroaches to be got rid of. And the main character, the super soldier in this event, he learns about this, right? He figures this out as a crisis of conscience and then turns against the system. And again, this is something that is it could potentially be real, right? I mean, the Pentagon could develop some sort of mind control program where they train soldiers to do this. I don't even think they'll need to do that, because the next episode or the one after that is the DARPA dogs episode, which is genuinely pretty creepy, right? So they won't even need these mind controlled super soldiers. They'll just send out the DARPA dogs, which is the next episode. But I appreciated that anti-dysgenics element of this episode. So it's another one of these episodes that, whether they intended it or not, whoever wrote it, it's a pro-life episode. So I appreciate that. But even if there isn't the development of a mind-controlled super soldier who sees everybody as cockroaches and wants to kill everybody, it's analogous to the programming that the elite put into their system, that we need Extinction Rebellion. We need to stop having humans. We need to stop having families. We need to, depop, right? It's analogous to that, even if it's not a real mind control program in a super soldier, right? Society is getting the same programming that the protagonist in this episode is getting. That's the point. So let's see. The next one is... is this the one with the bees? This one's pretty crazy. Yes. So this one has the bees and the Kanye type of rapper in it. This one was really odd. And yes, there are these kinds of mini drones that DARPA has developed. I mean, they're not like in this movie, right? This is kind of overboard, but this was relevant because you have this rapper character in it who's basically just like Kanye. His name's Tusk, and he starts mouthing off on a TV show, and he disses some kid, and the social media turns against him. So this is trial by Twitter, trial by social media, right? The mob. And we find out that this is an AI program that is furthering the tweets going against the rapper. He ends up being an experiment in this series. Like the AI chose this rapper as a test case to cause the mob to go after him through the manipulation of the social media, as if the whole world was against this rapper, which wasn't the case, right? It's fake, but it's an experiment, and then it turns out it works. And so the AI is learning that through social media manipulation, it can target its future threats. This was the plot of Captain America Winter Soldier. Remember this? The AI is, they're trying to figure out, why is the AI killing these people? Or it's either Winter Soldier or the other one. The first or second Avengers, right? Well, the whole point was that the AI had already picked out who the most likely future challenges to its rule were, and so it was eliminating them before they got popular in the future, you see. And that's the most relevant element of this of that episode, right? So basically, I said there, the bees, it's a hive mind, okay? The bees are symbolic in the show of the hive mind of the people who are mind controlled through social media to go after whoever the mob that they're told to go after. They're basically social justice Daleks. Exterminate. You know what a Dalek is, right? The Daleks. And the AI is basically doing that, and they're utilizing social justice movements as part of their AI. I guarantee you that that's real. Not the swarm of AI bees that are going to go kill you. That's probably not real. I mean, they may have that. I don't know. But the point of this episode is AI being programmed. It's not conscious. It's not sentient. It's not alive. It's a freaking math problem. Okay, math problems aren't alive, dummies. AI is not going to come alive. Who's going to come alive, dude? Oh, it's a math problem. It's going to evolve to be alive. It can't become alive, idiot. But what is relevant is a global network being programmed to target and send the mob of goober-minded slug boys, right? Gub snail men after anyone that micro machine snail men masses being sent after everybody. That was an excellent episode. Okay, season 4. Season 4, the USS Callister. This was an odd one. An unhappy, unsatisfied beta man, computer geek named Robert Dyer is the co-founder of a successful virtual reality gaming platform. It's called Infinity. It uses the player's DNA to construct a simulant replica for the virtual world. In his off time, he is the captain in a Star Trek reminiscent virtual game called Starfleet, where he torments and controls the replicas of his co-workers who have angered him in real life. The story eventually shifts to being told from the vantage point of Robert's love interest at work, who is a replicant in his virtual world. While amusing and creative conceptually speaking, season 4 marks an even stronger SJW turn for the series, as he personifies a weak male worker who can only fantasize about tormenting others in his virtual world. And if I remember, it's in this season is kind of dominated by ressentiment, right? The idea of fantasizing about tormenting the people that I don't like. This comes up multiple times in this season, if I recall. And one of the best outlets for that is the virtual world, right? So in other words, this season is exploring this idea. Well, what if people who are obsessed with weak people who are obsessed with ressentiment have the ability and the power to torment the people that they're afraid of, that they're jealous of, that they don't like in virtual worlds? Interesting. Imprisoning them, which is what we saw in the John Hamm episode, right? And so the episode takes a Gnostic turn. This was a weird part too, where Captain Robert becomes a cruel tyrant who is the demiurge creator god in his virtual Star Trek game world. The more power he attains, he only seeks vain pleasures and egotistical gratification at the expense of tormenting all of his colleagues. Endowed with these god powers in this virtual world, Captain Robert can almost do anything in his Starfleet universe and has bizarrely removed the sexual organs from his replica characters. So this is the madness of the dystopia to achieve these hermaphroditic, or excuse me, I should say non-binary creatures, right, who can't reproduce. So the virtual game world in this episode becomes an analog to the elite in our world. Captain Dally, or the main guy's love interest, Nanette, is miffed at being neutered, and especially about having none of her privy parts. Because men cannot handle women having their privy members, we get the idea that the male deity is some sort of cruel, oppressive tyrant who wants to rid women of their privy members. Men are then seen to be like the patriarchal god, a controlling biblical god who only wants to oppress women. Predictably, then, Nanette becomes the new captain and overthrows and defeats the tyrant creator god as a kind of Sophia principle. In some Gnostic schemes, the male creator god suppresses the goddess power out of his fear and envy, a perfect mythology for nonsensical, irrational fixations, in this case here of feminists, who at times write about their own Gnostic influences. In short, I thought this was a creative and enjoyable episode until it turned into a bizarre Gnostic tirade of ressentiment, as I said. Let's see what this one was about. Let's see. Archangel. I'm not sure how to rate this one. On the one hand, it is interesting to consider the nightmare that smart technology will create, not just from Big Brother in the state, but Big Mommy and her stalker control freak parents. Can you imagine a dysfunctional relationship that will follow from overprotective parents trying to spy on their children at all times? Okay, I remember this one now. At the same time, this episode is morally ambiguous as to whether the mom is morally flawed because she's spying on the daughter or because she's concerned that her daughter is dating a famous drug dealer. Drawing the line here is vague, and certainly this aspect of Black Mirror is a constant theme. Moral ambiguity. I can't really talk about what goes on in this episode, again, due to the platform that we're on. But, yeah, I have a ambiguous rating for this ambiguous episode. Crocodile. Crocodile, probably one of the worst episodes with no explanation. A stoner chick becomes a ball-busting CEO. So you can see already that season 4 is dominated by girl boss, right? And ice bitch queens ruling shit, right? Girls rule the world, right? As Beyonce say. Is that right? What's her song? Who run the world? Girls run the world. So this is all of season 4, basically. We're going to skip that one. This one was odd because it was playing with the idea of Tinder. So what if Skynet ran Tinder? And that one I would say is worth watching. We're going to skip to Metalhead. This was probably my favorite episode of season 4. It didn't have this preachy sort of SJW morality to it. It was just suspense and survival as a group of survivors skulk about preparing to raid a warehouse after an unknown robot apocalypse. This is the DARPA dog episode. Unsuccessfully, the team is chased by assassin DARPA dogs over hill and dale. Only the woman survives. And of course, she is survived by an older woman herself. And none of them, so in other words, 2 fit young guys can't survive. But of course, old women survive. Again, feeding into the feminist themes. However, overall, this is the best episode in season 4. Very sort of Terminator-esque. It's a very much a Terminator-style episode. Shot with a very interesting lens and filter, which made it more barren and sort of gritty, as they say. Every movie in the 2000s was gritty. But yeah, I'm going to say pass on the next one, Black Museum, because it was all a bunch of sort of RACIST type of stuff going on. So, yeah, really that DARPA Dogs one was about the only good one in season 4. I mean, it was just like, dude. They got worse and worse, and there is a, season... I've not seen season 5. Is that the Bandersnatch? So I don't know what to say about season 5. I couldn't tell you about that one. I kind of quit on this show after season 4. But Jamie did talk me into watching the Miley Cyrus episode, which was worth watching. And again, the weird part of this was the sort of open display of pop star mind control, right? And this is odd too because this came out right before I think we started hearing all the story about Britney and her captive state. Remember all this? What was this, a year ago, 2 years ago? It was right around the time that this episode came out. And it was also odd to see Miley Cyrus singing Nine Inch Nails songs. The episode itself tells me that I live in the dystopia, just the weirdness of it. So, if you remember, Miley Cyrus played a pop star in her show, which made her famous, Hannah Montana. She was a country star with an alternate identity, right? Mind control, alternate identity themes there. And once again, Miley Cyrus returns to this role of playing herself. So, it's meta. She plays Ashley O, the biggest pop star in the world. So she's the Katy Perry, Madonna, Miley Cyrus, right? In this future dystopia. And this is very instructive. I almost think that whoever wrote this episode is aware of my work, Jamie's work, and the other conspiracy people who've talked about this. I mean, it's so... I was like, man, this is everything we talk about. They have to have seen or heard or read what we talk about. I mean, my book came out. I've been writing movie analyses like this for 12, 14 years. My book came out 6 years ago now, exploring all these themes. I can't imagine that the people who wrote this episode were in no way familiar with these themes. They just have to be. And so we have a family with two sisters, and I think there's a brother, but he doesn't have much of a role. The two sisters here are sort of opposites. You've got this bubblegummy pop sister who loves Ashley. She's obsessed with Ashley O. And then you've got this sort of edgy alt teen goth girl who loves punk rock and industrial music, right? And they don't like each other. Their dad is this useless, totally not involved in the children's lives because he's a science dork obsessed with rat learning experiments because he runs a rat he's the Orkin man, okay, of the future. And to be a better Orkin man, he studies rats all the time. Now, when I was watching this, I'm like, what is rats? Then the more I thought about it, I thought, oh, the human beings that are programmed by the pop stars, like the pop star is programmed, are the rats in the maze. That's the whole point. The rat learning experiment. Go look it up. As we pointed out with Disneyland, if you were to look at Disneyland from up above, imagine you're floating in a balloon above Disneyland, you would see thousands of people running around with little mouse hats as if they were mice in a rat maze, in a mouse maze. And I think the same thing is going on here with this consistent reference to the father being the one who exterminates rats and studies the rats all the time. Who's the real experiment in the rat maze? It's the people. It's the masses. So the sister who looks, who's the bubblegum poppy sister, right? Like she's more and more conforming to trying to be Ashley O, right? She starts cutting her hair, like dyes her hair pink. She starts dressing like her. She's trying to learn how to dance. And separate from this, we find out that Ashley O is having problems with not wanting to be a corporate mind control bubblegum pop figure. She wants to do her own style of edgy industrial alt rock, right? And her managers and her team will not let her do this, right? No, they're like, no, you're a commodity. You're a piece of property. You will do what we say. And it comes to a head to the point where they have a huge falling out. And the Miley Cyrus character says, I will leave. I'm done. The manager, we find out, is her handler. Drugs her and puts her in a coma. Now you think, well, why would they do that? Because how can they make money off of their pop star? Well, a science dork has invented a machine that can pull songs from a person's subconscious when they're in a dream state or a coma state. So they can actually extract the songs from the pop star in the coma, the Miley Cyrus in a coma, and simultaneously to that, they have created an AI / hologram version that will be, quote, better than the actual Ashley O pop star. So now we're transcending the actual pop stars where the synthetic, again, replaces the reality. Simulacra, simulation, Baudrillard, right? And they want to keep Miley Cyrus in her coma so that they can have complete control over the synthetic hologram and the AI bots that they sell. So in other words, this even goes to another level because they basically make the pop star into an AI Teddy Ruxpin. Okay, so imagine having a little pop star bot as your personal assistant, and this just goes crazy. Everybody buys these. All the girls love it. They go nuts. So they're obsessed with it, right? Well, the edgy sister keeps sort of like trying to wake the other sister up and saying, "This is crazy. This is nuts. This is mind control." Blah, blah, blah. So they find out that through the AI bot that they have, that the real Miley Cyrus is in a coma and is having her creativity sapped out of her to be replaced by the bots and the hologram. Now it gets ridiculous after this point because then it turns into this thing where they set up this thing to infiltrate her vast Hollywood estate and extract her from her prison. It's all crazy. But anyway, they end up exposing this crooked woman who's the handler, and then Miley Cyrus becomes an industrial rocker and starts singing Nine Inch Nails songs, literally Nine Inch Nails song, Head Like a Hole. Right now, it kind of trailed off at the end. It was the best ending, but I mean, the episode was, again, a lot more profound than I expected because I think that this is pretty close to accurate in terms of how pop stars are actually controlled, handled. Their energy and creativity is extracted. They become commodities. And this is real, right? Now, as to how far it's going to go with AI pop stars and hologram pop stars, I don't know, but they've been trying to roll that out for a while now, right? But this does sound like Britney Spears. I mean, this sounds like, if you look at Britney Spears' Instagram and all that now, like, she's obviously got serious mental problems. And the best explanation seems to be not so much that she just partied and was wild, but it seems to be stuff like this, doesn't it? Yes, this seems more likely, especially what we've seen in the last couple of years with her captive status, right? That seems to be what's going on here. And so when you look at her bizarre manifestations, it looks like her mind controlling has gone haywire. I mean, to me, that's a better explanation. And so people say, well, what has happened to Britney Spears? What's going on? Did you watch this Black Mirror episode? I mean, I don't know that it's that advanced. I don't think it's not like the real Britney Spears is in a coma bed somewhere. I don't think that, but I'm saying that, like, it's something like this is going on with the pop stars. Like, that seems to be a plausible scenario, right? It's not, because it's not just, people don't realize that pop stars are not just commodities. This is all intertwined with the deep state. Hollywood, the music industry, as you guys know, is intimately intertwined with this kind of mind control stuff. Now, I've written books to defend that position and to argue that. I'm not the only person. Jamie has too, as well as many others. But as more and more crazy things come out, especially what's come out today or in the last couple of days with CANNIBALISM, when we told you 7 years ago that would begin to be normalized, it sounded crazy, didn't it? When I analyzed these Black Mirror episodes and talked about them back in 2012, 2013, 2014, or 2011, whenever the first one came out, I don't remember exactly. We talked about, we started doing Boiler Rooms in 2014, and we talked about Black Mirror. We were talking about how this was going to be coming into reality. They were going to do this. And people thought that was schizo. People thought that was crazy. It's too far. Everything that I've been telling you guys comes to fruition. Things that we told you that sounded crazy. In 2015, we did the CANNIBALISM interview covering the movie Society in 2015. So does it really seem that crazy that there might be captive state pop stars that are not just people who corporations greedily extract money from. Is it possible that there's another level to where they're involved in social engineering projects and perhaps mind control projects? I think so. And to watch that episode, to me, was, again, revelation of the method. We have gone for, I didn't expect this, but we did 2 hours on Black Mirror, so we may just save the rest of these dystopias, because I didn't realize that I was going to spend 2 hours on Dystopia. And we still got some super chats to get to, but you know, over the years, people, where's your Black Mirror breakdown? I said, well, I wrote a long, you know, like 20-page essay on Black Mirror. Well, but where's the podcast, the video? So here we go. Now there's a full podcast analysis and rethinking on these episodes. I'm thinking maybe I should rewatch these, because, you know, we're going all the way back to, so when was the first Black Mirror? I keep forgetting if it's 2011 or 2014. I think it premiered. I think they waited, didn't they? Wait a few years between season 1 and season 2? Yeah, it says 2011. Okay, so that first season, wow, 2011. So prophetic, man. 11. That didn't even. Oh man, I can't believe that's 11 years ago. I mean, we are entering into what these episodes are talking about, especially episode 2, 15 Million Merits. And now that entire History of You episode, that was not that great. It's relevant, but not that great. But White Bear, again, definitely one you want to watch. Waldo Moment, definitely one you want to watch. White Christmas is out there, but relevant. Again, most important would be Nosedive. Playtest is pretty good. The rest of these, Hated in the Nation, relevant. But I've not seen season 5. I don't know if I should watch season 5. Let's see. There's Striking Vipers, which I didn't see, and Smithereens, which I didn't see, but I did see Rachel, Jack, and Ashley, and that's the Miley Cyrus episode, which surprised me. So there you go. Again, pretty powerful instances of revelation of the method. I think the Black Mirror series is a very profound way of further adding to evidence for my thesis about psyops and fiction. That dystopian fiction actually plays a role in conditioning the future and steering the future. Sometimes it's intended to be revelatory in a negative sense and to wear you down and to make you think it's inevitable. Sometimes people write stories that are intended to wake people up. So you can't know anybody's motives, but sometimes the details are so precise that I think that the details are implanted on purpose. So, and I think that these episodes and installments definitely back up that thesis. All right, so let's get to the super chats, and if you would hit like and share. I think you guys it's been a great show tonight. I know that it's mistitled. I'm going to retitle the episode because we spent the whole night on Black Mirrors. Frankie D says for $5. No, that's from last week, or from 5 days ago. Excuse me. BMX $25. Jay, in parts 1 and 2, it was hard to watch. Your last show, he's talking about my last show, parts 1 and 2. Last show I did was just one long stream, so I don't know what you mean. Oh, you mean about the drama with the Romanides stuff? That's all settled. I mean, I don't change in my positions on Romanides, but there's no personal drama. That's all been quashed, thank God. So don't worry about that. BMX $96.65. The Nashville event, will you be filming it for those who do not live in the USA so that you can put it on YouTube? So no, we will not be filming the Nashville event because I intend to keep doing this event. And so if it's filmed, then it loses its newness and its uniqueness and its and the ability of me to do this on the road. So no. So it de-incentivizes people to come to the show if I record the event. So I'm not going to record it. If I decide that I've done all the road show events I want to do and I want to record the last one, I might do that. And then next year, if we have a new book out, I think Mark Hackard and I are planning on putting out a book on intelligence studies. So if I do that, then I'll do a whole new book tour and speaking event with new material. And then I will put up the old event and its material when that's ready. Does that make sense? So that's why we do it. Same principle by when I went to see Theo Vaughn, you can't bring your cameras in. He doesn't want his routine recorded because then people don't go to the public event. So it de-incentivizes. There's no point in doing that. BMX $96.63 $3. Cheers. Thank you, BMX. BMX again $19.66 $3. Have you been watching King of the Table? I have not. Never heard of it. Don't know what it is. Also, East versus West arm wrestling sports by chance. You're saying King of the Table is East versus West arm wrestling? Don't know anything about that. Sorry, haven't seen that. Vibranium $5. Jay, at the end of Zardoz, is Zed the new Adam? Yes, he is. Maybe I will talk a little bit about Zardoz because everybody likes that one. It's a crazy one. Or maybe I'll save it for the final episode that Jamie and I do. Orthodox Prepper, $2.50. Jay, your work is well appreciated. Thank you so much. If you would, guys, hit like and share. Remember, too, that our show sponsor is chalk.com. It is the best, most toxic masculine supplements out there. Action 2.0, Ashwagandha, She Legit, Daily, Tonkat Ali. Those are the ones I recommend. Those are the ones that we've consistently used here. Jamie's a big fan, too, of chocolate, which she puts in her morning smoothie regimen. It's a superfood. Tastes just like chocolate. Hardly any of the sugar and all that nonsense that you don't need. Really good. I highly recommend the chocolate. That's our last bag. It will be gone soon, I'm sure. But I will be giving out quite a bit of chalk samples at the speaking event. They were so good at chalk to send us a bunch of t-shirts and samples, so you guys will get access to that as well. But remember to use the promo code J50 to get 50% off of any of the best supplements that add to our nutrient deficient diets. Right? So it makes up for what's lacking in our nutrient deficient diets, which we all have today. And I hope you guys like this big, long breakdown of Black Mirror. It was long overdue. Again, I didn't know it was going to take 2 hours to go through Black Mirror. So as I looked at my essays, I was like, yeah, it's 2 hours. So I don't think we're going to do a 4-hour movie review because we still got WALL-E, we still got Idiocracy, Dune, Crimes of the Future by, I don't like the movie, but I did take a page and a half of notes, right? So, I got pretty deep on a movie that I don't like, but that's okay. We can do that. And we had a lot of requests. A lot of people said, please analyze Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future. I was actually looking forward to this because I think David Cronenberg makes great movies. He does, right? So I really had high hopes. It's just too gross, dude. Who wants to see Vigo slurping freaking oatmeal, dribbling down his chin with bubble guts on a skeleton throne, eating from a freaking bone? It's just nasty. Nasty. Shame on you, David Cronenberg. Shame on you. Anyway, but so I'll try to get Jamie back too. She had so much. She's an over prepper, so she over preps for her speaking events, and that's all she's done all week. By the way, she read a bunch of books that she went off into subjects I don't know about. So she's gonna be teaching me at the event about stuff I don't know about. By the way, you can still get signed copies of my book. If you won't be able to be at the event, you can get signed copies of the new book, Meta-Narratives, Essays in Philosophy and Symbolism, at the website. Go to the shop at the website and you get the signed copies there. Of course, yes, you always get signed copies of Esoteric Hollywood 1 and 2 in the shop as well. Anything you order from my site is autographed, except for Jamie's creams. I don't put no autograph inside the creams. That's weird. I'm not going to do that. But I do autograph the books. And by the way, I did add an extra lecture series in the shop for audios because some people say, I don't want a recurring subscription. I want the whole lecture series that you did on blah, blah, blah. And eventually I do plan to have, for example, the whole serial killer series in there. I'll have the whole Dystopia series in the shop in audios. And what else? The whole series on what lectures on the Gospel of John. I added there's 13 lectures on Genesis. I didn't realize it was that many. So I was putting those in there. I was like, good grief, dude. It took me like 3 hours to put the whole lecture series on Genesis in the shop. Now, remember, if you do the recurring subscription, you get access to all the same stuff. But some people don't like that because they forget. And then 6 months later, they're like, I don't want to be subscribed to your recurring subscription for 6 months. Why am I still on there? Well, it's your duty. It says when you subscribe, it's not my job to unsubscribe you. So that's the duty of the subscriber. It's very clear that you have to unsubscribe. And so I just make another option for people who don't want access to the geopolitical stuff. I don't care about all that stuff, and I don't want the recurring subscription. Okay, well, if you want just 13 part 1 and 2 lectures on Genesis, you can pay $30, right? I don't think that's unfair. $30 for 16, 17, 20 hours of lectures. I mean, that took a long time to go through all the way through Genesis. I'll put all of Gospel of John in there. It took a long time to do that. So I don't think $30 is unfair for that. You can get the Plato lectures on their own, right? $20 for all the Plato Republic lectures. So it's just another option because a lot of people request that. But yes, if you subscribe for $4.95, you get all of it. And by the way, I'm all the way up to 2019. So I'm up to 2019 in migrating everything from YouTube to Rockfin. So people are like, is it the same stuff? It's going to be, but you know how long it takes? I mean, we've almost been on Rockfin for a year, and I'm past halfway because there was over 1,000 videos and talks on YouTube. So it takes a long time to get all of those over to Rockfin. But I'm all the way up to past halfway. So, yeah, anyway. So also subscribe over on Rockfin. It's free to subscribe to Rockfin. We're almost to 30,000. I'm at 29,760 something on Rockfin. So almost to 30,000. Remember, Rockfin is free. It's a lot more free. Rockfin is basically what YO YouTube was in 2012. Remember when in 2012 when everything was on YouTube? Well, that's what Rockfin is now. That's why it's so cool. Okay? And it's free. Now, the only difference with Rockfin and the paid stuff is that you pay a flat fee of $10 and you get access to everybody. So it's not just you paying $10 for premium content. You pay $10 to get everybody. But not everything of mine is on Rockfin. Okay? We're only up to 2019 in moving everything. So there's still 500 more videos and things that are not on Rockfin. But I also do a unique week, almost every week, thing specific to Rockfin. And that's for the advantage of the people that just want Rockfin. Now, if you subscribe to my website, you're not getting cheated because eventually everything that's on Rockfin that was exclusive to it does also make its way to you. But you don't get first dibs to that. But if you subscribe on the website, you get access to everything. All of the archives going back, talks that the archive in the paid stuff is vast. I mean, it has grown, and people say it's kind of messy in there. Well, dude, it's so messy, I can't keep up with it. There's so much stuff in there. We probably got hundreds of talks and lectures. So if you want an education at a graduate level, but you don't want to pay $75,000 to a bunch of creepy professors to get scammed, all you got to do is pay $4.95 a month, and you can binge my stuff, and you get the same thing. That was the idea I came up with educational material. So wait a minute, people are paying $100,000 to go listen to a bunch of idiots, brainwash them. You could take all that same material, put it on the internet for $5 a month. So even if you hate me, isn't that better than paying the people that hate you. I don't hate you. Your local professors hate you, and they want to brainwash you, and they're complete degenerate goobers, and they're not even that smart. So how can you beat that? How can you beat undergraduate, graduate level education in multiple fields for $4.95 a month, $60 a year? I haven't raised that price since 2014. It's been the same since 2014. How can you beat that? Plus you get access to everything, right? So it's all out there for you if you want it. Head on over to Jay's Analysis and subscribe, or to Rockfin, or whatever, however you want to do it. There's pros and cons either way. Everybody, if you would hit like and share. Tell me what you think below about the Black Mirror episodes. Tell me about other movies you'd like to see me do. I always like when people recommend things in the audience. The audience has a vast amount of knowledge, you guys out there, for sure. And there's always somebody coming up with something perfect. I'm like, how did I never know about that? How did I never see that? Why did I never analyze that? Thank you so much, audience. You guys are the best. Love you guys so much. And